Good Packer Nation Friday morning, everybody. My cousin Trent was on there already chiding me to get on again because, but I had to wait because I had to get my. I told you, man. It is Friday, folks. How about that? Got any love for the weekend? And no Packer football this weekend, but football is here as well. Of course, the matchup last night wasn't super interesting to me. But that's okay. It was football. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole game. Let me straighten up the mic here. As you guys get on, let me know who you are and where you're coming at me from, and we'll do Packer Nation roll call. Today's show is called Mike Daniels, Are You Human, by the way. We're going to be talking about that cat for a little bit here. Hey there, Sean. How you doing? Nathan is here. Sheena is back. Hey, how are you? Terry is here. Tim, good morning there from Delaware. Very good. Jesse is here as well. What's going on with our secondary? We're not going to talk as much about that today. Adam is here. Kelsey, Sheena. I'll try from Omaha, Nebraska. Very good. Hey, good morning there, Tim. How you doing? Johnny is back from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And Gabriel from Foley, Minnesota. Good. You got to hold it down there. Trent says good morning to everybody. Probably pretending to work at Thayer's in Boston right now, but actually listening to the Packers. Roger's here from La Crosse in Asheville, North Carolina. Shane is there. Shane, I am up in Johnson City, so good to see you on board today. Andrew is back. Paul is here. Dean is here. All right, guys, it's finally Friday. The weekend is upon us, and I am feeling lucky. All right. If you've been following this show, we got Donna Kay from Eau Claire. Hey, I used to live up in Chippewa. If you have been following this show since the last 2 or 3 episodes, one thing you know is my son has been playing soccer, and as of today, Jeff is on board. Good to see you, buddy. As of today, you are looking at the proud father of a champion right now. Benjamin's team, the Blue Lightning, got her done last night, and I could not be happier. They had a really tough sort of semifinal game. They had to play a team, the core, that they had not beaten before, and that was the nerve-wracking game. Then the team got on there. They actually had to play from behind, from down 0-1. In the second half, tied it up, and then had to play both quarters both of their halves in overtime, extra time, and were able to win 3-1 by the time all was said and done. Move on to the championship game, and when this team beat the core, it was like a light switch went on, and they got out on the field, and they just looked like a team that had been transformed. The confidence was up, the energy was up, and it looked like a team that just felt like nobody could beat them, and they went out and got her done 4-0 in the championship game against a good team with a great coach. Actually, I was very happy to see the Falcons make it to the championship game because their coach is just a super guy, just totally encourages everybody out there on the field. And Benjamin, love you, buddy. Totally proud of you and proud of the Blue Lightning out there, champions today. So, hey, thank you, Linda, so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys want to give a little heart out there for Lil Benj, I say Lil Benj, he's not little anymore, but he's my youngest, so you know how that is. They're always little to you when they're your youngest. Yeah, but Benj got out there and played a great game, and everybody did. He and his friend Jack, Benj had several assists. They were playing excellent soccer last night for their age group. A very good group of guys and having a lot of fun out there. Fairly soft-spoken, you know. They weren't out. They're not jabber-jaw type of a team. They just go out there and play, and they got her done. Aiden, another guy who quite good, and of course we had 2 defensemen that just. You know, some of you out there understand this. In American football, some people just love to play defense, all right? This is worth talking about because this goes to American football as well. I'm one of those guys. Like, if I was playing even just a pickup, it didn't matter what it was, a pickup game of broom ball on the pond in undergrad, I wanted to play defense because you want to draw a line in the sand and no one sets foot on my side of this line. Okay? Now, is that not pertinent? Is that not the kind of defense the Packers are bringing right now? This is the Blue Lightning, Austin and Matt. This is what they do. And this is what the Packers are bringing to the table right now. Yes, we had the question earlier, what's up with our defensive backfield? We'll get a chance to talk about that later. I don't think we'll get a chance to talk about it today because I want to go over the second half. I want to start really breaking down the second half of the Detroit Lions game today. But our defense right now is drawing a line in the sand. All right, I want this to be an interactive show because it's Friday. It's supposed to be your show. So if you've got something you want to talk about, like the defensive backfield, maybe, I'll try and get to that because really Fridays will be your show. But I want this to be interactive today. So why don't you give me a thumbs up if you feel like this defense in particular, but this Packer team as somebody is knowing what broomball is out there, which is probably you have to be in the North. You have to be in Minnesota, North Dakota, Wisconsin to even know what broomball is. Probably, my friend from Asheville is going, what in the cuss are you talking about? So basically, if you live in a climate where it is frozen for 9 months out of the year, you have to find something to do because otherwise you're going to go stir crazy. So what we do is one of the solutions to this is hand everybody a broom, throw a red rubber ball on a pond, and smack each other around for about 2 hours. So, Michael's here. What's up, buddy? How you doing? It's fun as crap. I don't even remember if there were hardly any rules. It's kind of it's like hockey with a broom. It's like a cross between soccer and hockey with brooms. I didn't play it very much, but in undergraduate, that was one of the things we did. Like I say, on sports, I was really good at the sports that all you had to do is just smack somebody or not let a ball get past you. I was fine with that. Basketball, I was not very good at. Number one, I'm short. Number two, there was one period in my basketball career, it's actually my favorite play, where their star player drove the middle of the paint and I just dropped the shoulder and tackled the crap out of him and laid him out on the court. And it was my final foul, so I just walked off the board and sat on the pine the rest of the game. But anyway, broomball is one of those types of things. You just get out there and have some fun. Willie is here from Atlanta. Good to see you, buddy. Brian says he played broomball in high school. All right. Wisconsin should get an NHL team. I agree with that. That would be freaking awesome. It's a crying shame we don't have one. But anyway, our defense right now is playing great football. Now, we do have the problem of the shot plays, the big plays, the 20 pluses that we've got to get fixed. So I think we'll probably talk about that in a later show maybe over the weekend or next week. We'll have to break that down a little bit more. But keep in mind, guys, this defense right now, the term decimated comes to mind. That we have so many injured starters on this team that we had 13 first-year players in the game against the Detroit Lions, both offense and defense, but 9 of them were on defense. And I don't know if 9 of them were on defense, but many of these guys played double-digit snaps in this game. So keep that in mind. Yes, we want to see Demarius Randall take a step forward, not back. Yes, we want to see Rollins take a step forward, not back. But listen to me. Ladarius Gunter is playing great football right now. He is becoming that kind of a player that we can single up on the outside right now and do some serious damage. And if our pass rush continues, we get Clay Matthews back. Hopefully we get LaTroy Guion back. Look at what Kyler Fackrell was able to do. He should have had 2 sacks in this game. He was held big time on what would have been another one. Kyler Fackrell being very active. Our inside linebacker core is doing good things. What we need, if we get better coverage, our sack count is going to go way up. So it's a great comment, what is up with our defensive backfield. But let me just say this, since I don't have really the time and I haven't put in the time right now to do a great job of analyzing that. But if we can get some Morgan Burnett, Sam Shields, if we get some guys back healthy and our coverage units improve even a little bit right now, our sack count is going to go through the roof. And we are already a 3-sack minimum team right now. That's pretty exciting for a defense that I know in the second half, in the whole game, against the Detroit Lions, it was a little bit disappointing, but also we saw Stephon Diggs sort of tear us a new one. We saw the Detroit Lions and Matthew Stafford tear us a new one, but positive things are on the horizon. Okay, so we'll get some things corrected with the tackling. Wrap-up issues. Terry Haney, I guess we're gonna turn the show over to you because this is what Friday's supposed to be about. I'm drinking coffee out of my cut bottle mug right now. Take a little sip of that. Terry Haney has a good question with wrap-up issues and tackling drills needed. Now, here's one of the things that's going down, Terry. Honest truth, I don't know what the cuss to think about it, because we are now starting to coach our defensive players to tackle with their head on the backside of the running back, the wide receiver. The reason they're starting to do this is because they're concerned about concussions and neck injuries, et cetera, et cetera. What you're going to see more and more, and this is part of the reason, especially in the game during the Jacksonville game, first game of the season, I said the same thing. Our tackling was crap. We need to do some tackling drills. Jesse, we're going to talk about the second half. I promise you, buddy. All right, don't worry. The tackling, the way we are coaching it now, it seems to me we are tackling for safety purposes with our head on the backside of the running back. Now, this to me is poor tackling form from my growing up years, but it is part of the changing landscape of the NFL right now. And what that does, you're going to see a lot more running backs and wide receivers able to peel off these tackles. But I do believe it is going to be, this is what we're going to see moving forward. So yes, we probably need to do some tackling drills. We do them every week, I'm sure. But I fear that we are going to see more and more would-be tacklers peeling off, and it's just going to be something I think we're going to have to deal with. Now, what you see across the middle, sometimes you got your Joe Thomas hits, big time, thumper. He's getting big hits. Ladarius Gunter with a huge form tackle in the backfield on a beautiful read of a screen pass, if I'm remembering right. Excellent tackling form. We've seen Clinton Dix. Every single game is getting at least one blasting hit. When we get squared up, we're still going to see these big hits. They are going to come at us. We're going to see them less and less, and we're going to see more and more of the missed tackles. And this is going to be, it's probably a trend you could track throughout the league because of the safety issue. Anytime the tackler is on an angle, we are going to see more running backs able to break tackles. I think that's just going to be the state of the game. I am not sure exactly what to think about that, to be quite honest, but I think if we're careful with our players, we'll be okay down the road. Somebody's asking about the Precious, so oh yeah, makes my Friday feel good. I got a son who's a champion. We're talking about a Green Bay Packers team that is right in the mix to become a champion this year, and I've got the Precious on my finger. So, and I got coffee in my hand. So yeah, what could be better on a Friday, right? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say about that right now. I still have to stew on this a little bit because I hate the notion as a former safety of tackling with your head on the wrong side of the ball. Because you now you can't get a hat on the ball anyway. You lose the opportunity to knock the ball free. The tackling becomes, because listen, you're tackling with one hand basically at that point. Now this is one thing you can go back to every single game we played. And this is the only reason that I can truly suss out why this is happening. But you go and watch every single play of every single game that we have had thus far in 3 games, and you will see this as a theme, a running theme throughout our team. And I guarantee if you look at other teams around the league, if they're coaching this way, you're going to see the same thing happen. I believe that it is just something we are going to see in the NFL moving forward because of player safety issues. I am not for it. I am not sure that I'm against it because, yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen our defense already. And how many great safeties in particular have gone out because have not been able to play because of injury, just on our team? You know, you look at Nick Collins, neck injury, right? You know, so you've got to weigh player safety into it. We know that we have a coach in Mike McCarthy who pays very, very close attention to player safety. I do believe that we are going to see this more and more. And I think that's just going to be the state of the game. Shane is asking when the release date is. End of October, the release date won't be, I won't even know until very close, but I will definitely, I promise you, You will know as soon as I do. As soon as we get a release date, we'll be commuting all of our talk about the game over to a new Facebook fan page where we can all smack talk each other. We can have pictures of the Precious. I don't want to belabor the point for any of you who are out there, just want to listen to the Packers, but we do have a new game coming out. If you're interested, it's going to be, it's a better way to play. You're going to play live. You're not going to choose players from other teams. You're going to play with your Green Bay Packers. And yes, one of the prizes is the Precious. So you can go to greenbaypackernation.com and there's just the top post says get in before the app comes out. You fill out a quick form and I will invite you to the game because that's the only way to get it. You can't find it on the Play Store because it does not exist. It's in beta testing right now, which is super exciting. And you guys know about it before anybody else at this point. So, all right, what else did we need to talk about today? We wanted to talk about the second half, okay? But before we do that, I wanted to do unpack the play real quick. And this is going to be a short one because I don't even want to analyze this play. But the second half, okay, so the second half of this Detroit Lions game was very interesting, right? Packers scored on 5. We had like 4 touchdowns on 5 series. Packers blew the doors off the Detroit Lions in the first half, and then right before, with like 20 seconds to go, we give up a touchdown on a defender falling down or sort of backing off the play. It was freaking ridiculous. The Detroit scores before the half after we had just thrown that beautiful touchdown pass to Jordy Nelson. Really kind of a disappointing way to end the half. All we had to do was run out the clock. And then the Detroit Lions get the ball back and they quickly turn 14 points. But how did they do it in that case? Now, remember, this is a Packers team that has had to play defense have had to play 4-down defense, I think, more than anybody in the league right now. I would love to see the stats on that. Remember, the Jacksonville Jaguars had to play 4-down football, and the Packers went 3 for 4, but got it done in the fourth down play that actually mattered. And closed out that game with a 4th down tackle. Just a group tackle, group effort. Well, the Detroit Lions come out, and then now they drive the ball down the field. They get to the half-yard line, and the Packers have their heels on their own end zone, and it's 3rd down, big-time play. What happens on that play is just absolutely... This is what happens on that 3rd down and a half is what brought up the name of this show. Mike Daniels, Are You Human? Mike Daniels comes off the ball. He's playing that one technique. He shaded off the nose tackle a little bit, expected to take a guard, and if they double over, to take up the center as well. Mike Daniels takes the Detroit Lions guard, stands him up, drives him back. Meanwhile, Detroit has a lead fullback, and they're basically have their heavy package in. They're going to bring the fullback up Daniels' way. Big mistake, folks. They try to bring the fullback into the gap. They pull the tight end over for an overload. And what does Mike Daniels do on this play? The reason this play is not talked about. Larry McCarron did talk about him. I got to give credit where credit is due. But the reason this play isn't talked about is because on 4th down, the Detroit Lions scored another touchdown. But on 3rd down, Mike Daniels drove the guard back into the tight end. The fullback was not even able to get to the ball. He jammed 3 players. The guard, the tight end, and the fullback slipped behind them all, grabbed the running back, and made the freaking stick. Now, Mike Daniels doesn't do a lot of self-aggrandizement out on the field, but he stepped out of that pile and stood back there and did the biceps at that point. It was an absolutely phenomenal play. I watched this play and I put it in slow motion and then just kept playing it over and over and over again. So we talked yesterday about Mike Daniels being a beast. We've got to think in the proper terms when we say Mike Daniels is a beast. When we say Mike Daniels, Mike Daniels, I have some questions for you right now, okay? These are honest, just heart to heart, man to man, we think questions. If we cut you, Mike, do you bleed? Do you breathe the same air as the rest of us? When we call you a beast, Mike Daniels, we say that you are some other species than the rest of us right now. Analysts around the league called Mike Daniels too small to play the position. He is in a 3-4 defense. Mike Daniels, if we cut you, do you bleed? Can we get some love for Mike Daniels on a Friday? My freaking gosh, yes! The Detroit Lions scored on the nifty little pass after that play. It was a 4th down play. Holy crap. Hey, Rick is on. Good to see you, buddy. We are talking about Mike Daniels, and the question we are asking, we're putting hearts on the field, a little love. It's Friday. I'm going to ask for a lot of love for a lot of players. We're going to do that next. Can we get some love for Mike Daniels? The question being, Mike, if we cut you, do you bleed? You are a different kind. You are not just a different degree than the rest of us, but you are a different kind. Mike Daniels, if we cut you, do you bleed? Do you breathe the same air as the rest of us? Do you put your pants on one leg at a time? Or do you have to chase your pants down like you chase down quarterbacks? Because your pants literally flee from you in the morning. Mike Daniels, he is not just a different degree of person. He is a different kind. That is the mic drop for the day. Mike Daniels, my gosh, he is blowing my mind right now. And this defense, if Mike Daniels stays healthy and Kenny Clark is developing, we get LaTroy Guion back from injury, and we get Mike Pennell back from suspension. Let's get some love for this defensive line right now on a Friday morning. I have not seen some of the stuff they're doing out there right now. I have not seen for a long time. And then you add to that the fact that our inside linebackers, like Rick said, Martinez, just the kind of guy we need. I think Jake Ryan is playing fantastic football on the inside for us right now. We know that Martinez can develop as a pass protection out of the backfield. I am blown away by our defensive line right now. Now let's add to that again. Can we get some love for an outside linebacker rotation, including Kyler Fackrell, who goes out on the field and gets his first NFL sack in the regular season? This guy is doing it all. Think about this now. I love it. I watched the Mike McCarthy show, and Larry McCarron asked Mike McCarthy, what do you think about the fact that Kyler Fackrell and Jason Spriggs, these guys are like 6'5". Oh, what about the possibility that they have frames that can just be added to, and their body type can change and can grow? Now, Fackrell's 25, is a little bit older, but these guys can be amazing players. And Fackrell, he's one. Now, I will say this of myself. Remember, the talk before the season began was all about Blake Martinez. I was one of the guys who said, keep your eye on Kyler Fackrell. I loved his dimensions. I knew he needs to still put some meat on his bones. He needs to develop some more than an outside speed rush. He is doing that right now. I said, keep your eye on this guy, because this guy, you won't hear him say one word. He hardly even had a locker room press conference interview. He's a very soft-spoken guy, but you get him on the field, and he is a baller. Mark my words. He's coming on strong, and he's a nice addition to our rotation on the outside there. Well, of course, it's interesting. We will see what happens, because we need to get some guys back from injury. The bye week coming kind of at the right time for our defense. Adam says he called that one too. Excellent. Terry is calling out Martinez. All right, how about some love for Martinez, Ryan, and Thomas in the middle? It's Friday, man. Let's heart up some players. Let's do Martinez. How about that interior of the defense? Inside linebackers, Thomas, Ryan, Martinez. Let's give them some love right now, too. These guys are playing lights-out football. I am loving what I'm seeing. Remember, this was one of the biggest question marks coming into this 2016 season. And now, really, where are the questions we saw earlier asked, about the defensive backfield? Well, we've got a little more experience back there. We know we've got some depth back there. If we can get Morgan Burnett back and we can get Sam Shields healthy again in a few weeks, this could be a stellar. This defense could be special. This could be the defense that overtakes the Minnesota Vikings defense as one of the tops in the league by the time all is said and done, because I believe we are deeper than the Minnesota Vikings. Rick Motti says his boys exceeded his expectations. Isn't it good to see? Isn't it a good feeling when you call somebody out and they do even better than you think? Yeah, this inside linebacker group as a whole is exceeding my expectations. And how about some love for the fact that every single game we are playing right now, we are seeing big-time sticks. Not just one a game, but 2 and 3 a game. Big time sticks. And again, we talked earlier about this player safety issue, and the way that we're tackling is now changing. So we're going to see more peeling off on the angles, but we are getting solid down the line, big time sticks. Does anybody have a heart for the way Joe Thomas plastered Eric Ebron in the Detroit Lions game? I jumped out of my seat. We are thumping people. We are making them pay when they try to come across the middle against this Packers defense. So in terms of injuries, we're not just injured on the offensive side of the ball, or the defensive side of the ball. We're also injured on the offense. One thing I wanted to bring to the table, guys, we talked about this yesterday, that we weren't sure about Jared Cook. High ankle sprains can be very iffy. They can be much longer term than they seem. Mike McCarthy, talking to Larry McCarron, the Rock, he basically said that it looks like Cook will be out for a couple weeks. It was kind of a passing comment. It looks to me like Mike McCarthy is not concerned about Jared Cook for the long haul. You look at an ankle injury like this, and he just kind of said, it looks like he'll be out a couple weeks. He did not seem concerned. And I know we've got question about, should we be worried about Sam Shields, says Tim. I don't think so. I think by now, again, my concern is that we're hearing absolutely nothing. But again, it's the bye week. We won't hear anything until at least Sunday comes around. These guys will get back in town. They'll start going to work again. We'll start to hear more about Sam Shields. I expect, and I'm saying with Sam Shields, I expect maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So, maybe he comes back. Maybe he gets a chance to come back against the Cowboys. Who knows? But if he is there for that big triple run of away games that we have to do in November, I think we're going to be just fine, and I would be just pleased as punch if he has to see him stay out. Now, I know that means our defensive backfield may continue to struggle, but keep in mind, as we struggle, we grow. As we struggle, we grow. We've got Randall back there. He's got the coaches are doing cut-ups for him right now to help him get better. The scheme can help him get better. The pass rush, if we get healthy, we get Clay Matthews back, can help him get better. And the interior of our defensive line, getting LaTroy Guion back and getting Mike Pennell off of suspension can help him get better. And remember, it's a cause and effect. As our defensive backfield continues to improve, our coverage sacks are going to go up, guys. It's going to happen. I'm calling it. I'm drawing my own line in the sand right now. I'm writing it on the board. Our sack total, I think we can maintain what we've been doing. I think we can maintain it over the long haul. But part of the way we maintain it is going to be improvement in our defensive backfield. And so to answer the question, what's up with the defensive backfield? We are always going to be playing this zone coverage. We're going to be playing a lot of it, but we'll see more and more with the way Ladarius Gunter, who has played an excellent season so far. I think he had a struggle or two, maybe in the Jacksonville game early on, but he is playing good ball. He has taken a step at this point. So we'll be able to man him up from time to time, but we're going to be, and you watch the Detroit Lions game, we were 100% nickel defense basically in that game. We are a nickel defense at this point. And the reason for that is because our front is able to get pressure and without having to bring pressure from the defensive backfield. So we will see. Henry, it's Friday, guys. It's your show. Henry is making a good comment. You guys can probably see Henry's comment. We laughed about it yesterday. Because, frankly, there's just nothing else you can do at this point. But we dropped 3 picks in this game. Think about how this game would change if all of those interceptions that were in our defensive backfield's hands, not backfield all, because Thomas was one of them. If Thomas had caught his pick, if Gunter had caught his pick, and if I think Micah Hyde was the other one, had caught his pick, man, we would have had 4 interceptions in this game. On top of the sacks the sacks didn't come till late. But for crying out loud, this is a dominating performance in a lot of ways. The way that we are continuing to get gashed is these shot plays, these 20 pluses. We got to get that fixed. So, all right, what else do you got? We got Andrew is asking, Brady, did you get some Packer Perk coffee from Barra's Brothers Coffee Roasters in Watertown? No, but I don't know if the contact is with them or not. I think then, Andrew, you may have been the one that messaged me. Message me again. Give me some info on that because, yeah, if those guys send me some coffee, I will talk about it on the show. I'll bring up the name. Yeah, for sure. Because I'm almost out of coffee, by the way. This brewer, Beres Brewers, I don't know if I'm... Beres Brothers Coffee, if I'm pronouncing it right. They have an actual Packer roast. I would love to try it. I would love to see it. I'm just throwing it out there because I like coffee. And when I drink my coffee, I don't adulterate it with any other substances. Milk, fake creamers, flavors, crack cocaine, nothing like that. I don't put any of that in there. So yeah, I'd love to give it a try. Dalton is saying we got to protect Rodgers. Don't want to see Rodgers like he was against the Vikings. Well, yeah, our offensive line, here's the thing that's going to help us protect Rodgers. Continue to run the ball the way we have. Eddie Lacy is turning it on. There's one issue. Packers perks are awesome, right, Trent? There's one issue, that we've had, is we've always, with Aaron Rodgers, we've always tended to be this pass-first team. I think we're seeing a transition. Mike McCarthy talked about it a lot before the season began, that he wants to run the ball more. If you can run the ball, a lot of good things will happen. Look at what happened with play action. My one concern still, and I guess I'll probably have to push it to tomorrow, but I'm going to break down series by series the second half of this game, guys. Let me tell you something. The first series of the second half was my favorite series of that entire game. The first series of the second half against the Detroit Lions, the first offensive series, was my favorite series of all in that entire game. It was an absolutely phenomenal series, save for one mistake. Brian Bulaga gets called for holding after Aaron Rodgers scrambles to the 15-yard line. This is a gimme touchdown at that point. The play calling was unbelievable. We didn't have our 22 package available because Aaron Ripkowski was out with injury and Jared Cook out with injury. We went to our 12 package, single setback. We had Eddie Lacy in for that series until the end. We had Eddie Lacy in early in that series. We went with our 12 package, single tailback, 2 tight ends, and we absolutely play called ourselves into the most. It was a thing of beauty, the first series of the second half. So I'm going to break that down. I guess I'll have to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to break that down for you play by play. One play at a time, guys. And then I think I'll go back and we'll do that with each of the series and we'll see what we come up with. The one problem with that first series coming out of the gate, obviously we gave away 7 points to Detroit. It was a 14-point swing. The Packers came back and I think they had a total of 8 plays in that drive and it should have ended in a touchdown or at least a field goal. Or it did end in a field goal. But we weren't enough to get it in. There's one problem I had with that series. And you guys can comment on this if you want. If you're angry a little bit, because in that series, again, I loved it because they ran Eddie Lacy like 4 times in a row. We haven't seen that. And they were successful. 2 of those were for first downs. And then all of a sudden, Eddie Lacy had to go out. I have nothing against spelling Eddie Lacy when he gets tired. James Starks goes in, but then James Starks just plunked down in there and stayed there for the whole rest of and the entire offense changed when James Starks went in the game instead of Eddie Lacy. That's the only concern I had with that series. Now, I don't know, maybe Eddie Lacy was so gassed he couldn't go back in. But this was the opportunity to drive Eddie Lacy down their throat, and that's the one problem I had. Other than the holding call that took us, that cost us basically. Aaron Rodgers had to scramble again just to get in field goal range, all right? But that first offensive series of the second half was my favorite series of the entire game. I love the Jordy Nelson touchdown, man. I love the Devontae Adams touchdown. I love to see Jared Cook, first play to get involved inside. I love the way we work the seams. I love the way we work the interior of the field. But that first series of the second half, my favorite series of that entire game. We're talking about the secondary. We already kind of went over that. Let's see. We ran it up there. Cuss. Lacy was in juggernaut mode. Yeah. And Jay, I have nothing against, you run a running back like Eddie Lacy for several plays in a row. You're going to need to spell him a little bit. But put him back in. That's the one thing we didn't see if you watch that series is, once Starks went in, we just went with Starks. And McCarthy has said the reason he does that is he'd prefer to have a fresh running back. I can understand the logic, but what about a running back that's on fire? What about a running back that is freaking hitting his stride? why not put Eddie Lacy back in, spell him for a few, and get him back in there? The entire offense changed once Starks went in. And again, I am not an anti-Starks guy. But anyway, Paul is here from Bear, Delaware. All right, cool. Eva is here. Run, Plow, Run, Lacy. All right. Well, guys, I guess I don't know how much time I've done here. It's been a long show already. The only thing I really wanted to do was talk about the second half in that first series and break it down, but I think we'll save that for tomorrow. This is supposed to be, Friday is supposed to be your show, probably tomorrow afternoon, or maybe I'll do that Sunday right before game time when I get on, because sometimes on Saturdays I get lazy and I don't do a show. I always do the show. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in the afternoon on Saturdays, because I know you guys got some, probably some partying to get over, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, unless you are Jared, because he is already on his Saturday. You see, I caught you this time if you're out there. Nolan is here, meaning when Eddie Lacy breaks open, he gets caught, maybe getting caught from behind or whatever. Yeah, he's not a speed burner, but there are a couple things we saw to Eddie Lacy that I saw in the preseason, and we're seeing it continue to be successful for us, that you don't expect out of a back like Eddie Lacy. Excuse me. So, Peter is asking if I've ever had Puerto Rican. No, I have. I don't think I've had Puerto Rican coffee. I would love to try some Puerto Rican coffee. What I love about coffee, so it's Friday. If you guys want to jump off, that's fine. We're going to talk about, and I probably will go back to the soccer game because I'm totally stoked about my son. I have had from New Guinea. I've had a lot of. What I love about coffee is you can actually, that you can taste the difference because the soils are so different, and that would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that and appreciate it greatly, Peter. That's awesome. I would love to try it, and I do not think I ever have. I do a pour-over system. I'm pretty careful with how I make it. I'm careful with the temperature of my water, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like if you send me some, I won't do it an injustice, okay? And it sounds really delicious on a Friday. Well, guys, hey, here's Jared, man. I just did a preemptive strike on you telling us you're already on your weekend. So, too late, buddy. I'm pretty tipsy. We're drinking coffee over here. It's coffee. It's coffee talk time, boys. But yeah, we're talking about coffee right now. Maybe Jared, are you spiking your coffee right now? You're getting ready to hit the hay here maybe pretty soon. Mexican coffee, I've had a few. I don't know, I can't remember which regional ones I've had. Somebody's offering, I didn't see the name, offering to trade me some Maxwell House for the Precious. Oh my goodness. That is horrible, dude. All right. Hey, thanks, Peter. Good to talk to you, man. Yeah, I would love to try that. That'd be fantastic. We'll talk about it on the show because we talk about coffee from time to time. I know like when Vic Ketchman got on and started talking about the way he liked his eggs and stuff, I kind of was like boring me. But, I'll try and do it at the beginning of the show and the end of the show, and that way we'll get a lot of Packer talk in the middle. So we had plenty of Packer talk in the middle. Thank you guys so much today because you guys brought the show to the table. That's what Fridays are all about, and it was a great conversation. I hope I answered some of your questions, in particular about our tackling problems. That's a good question, and I think we are seeing that trend, and I did want to mention what, this is my take on it. Obviously, I'm not in the room when they have these discussions, but I do believe that is the way the NFL is heading as of right now. So Shane, all right, good job, buddy. Yeah, great question. You guys come up with great questions. I'll always have something prepared, but especially on Fridays, it's great to talk with you guys. Well, I will let you go for now. Jared, I'm glad you're getting a cab there, buddy. Let's not drink and drive. Everybody be safe. Obviously, as always, we try to interact with the show, but if you're driving or whatnot, please do not do that because we don't want anybody getting in an accident. Nolan's asking about the secondary. We talked a lot about that earlier on. I'm going to let you go on Friday, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. I know mine is going to be good. My boy Benj with a fantastic game last night. Champions, the Blue Lightning are champions. I couldn't be prouder of you, Benj. Love you, buddy. Let's see. All right, David has got something here. Hey, I missed yesterday. My phone fell out of the car while I was driving to shut the door. I'm back. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, buddy. All right, David is back. We are closing up the show. Jared is out later, buddy. Talk to you probably on Sunday, the way it looks. Kyle, good to talk to you. We need a new coach. I am not at all. I can't agree with you on that one there, buddy. But yeah, that's a lot of, some people have that opinion. Wait till we talk about the breakdown of the first series of the second half tomorrow. So maybe you can suspend judgment until then, because it was not creative. That's one of the things I loved about it. Let me talk about that for a minute. I loved it because it wasn't creative. It was smash mouth football. We put two tight ends on the field. We had a single running back. We still had two wide receivers. We put the Detroit defense in a real sort of catch-22 at that point, and we basically pounded the ball down their throat with our offensive line. So to some extent, yes, creativity I like, but creativity can end up being cuteness to me to some extent. So I liked what we did in the second half in terms of that very first series is all I'm talking about right now, and I'll break it down for you tomorrow. Fidel is here from Saudi Arabia again. Good to see you, mate. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. MJ is back. I've got the precious. You guys have a fantastic day. I hope your weekend is incredible. I hope you, like me, can celebrate a championship of a friend, a son, a daughter, somebody like that. Where there's a lot of sports going on. I hope you can enjoy some high school, college, and professional football. Even though the Packers aren't playing this weekend, but Packer football will be back, and I'll be talking about it in between. So we'll catch you later. Remember, get the ring.